Took a cylinder, stretched it way out and subdivided it a ton of times so we had enough geometry to work with. Then in sculpt mode, I used the clay brush and the inflate brush to just make a whole bunch of lumps and bumps. Basically didn't pay attention to anything that had to do with anatomy, just as long as it looked okay. Once I had a result that I liked, then I used the noise texture fed into a color ramp and an object input to drive the texturing. I adjusted all of the colors so that it looked meaty and used that same noise texture to drive the bump and the specularity. Once I had this result, added subsurface scattering and time to rig it. Used parent with automatic weights, and then under constraints, I applied copy rotation to each bone. That way it referenced the rotation of the one prior to it. And just do this over and over and over and over again until you end up with this. Now this isn't great for really complex animation, but it was fine enough for what I was doing here. And it's a really quick way to rig a tentacle by only controlling one bone. Then I got a photo scan of this bust we had laying around the house. The original sculptor was Jordu Shell. Not going to go through all the color information here, but I textured the thing with a really crappy paint job that I then fed into a color overlay node and mixed that with the original texture. And it looked passable. Then from there I used a specular map from a skin texture as well as a bump map. Then for the blood I had this video texture, which had an alpha channel on it. I then mapped it to the parts of the mesh where I wanted the blood to show up. Then I used the alpha input of that video as the factor value to mask it out so that only the blood texture showed up on the model. After that, I used keyframes on the mesh to adjust the eye blinks and the cheeks and the mouth and anything else that I wanted to deform. From there, I took it into After Effects and used shape layers, hand animated and tracked to make the spit, added in blood and any other elements that I thought the shot needed. And there you go.